Can it be? Can this really be what I think it is? Well, at least what the box says it is. I've waited so long, and finally you've come to me. Howdy YouTube, Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Playhouse. Today, we're bringing you, well, as you can see sitting here next to me, we have a new addition to the Unky Joe's Playhouse family. I told you we were going to do it, and we did it. We have our Synology NAS that has come in, and in this video we're going to cover information about what I had to go through to get it set up, how I transferred the data from the old NAS to the new NAS, etc., etc. So, thanks to the generous donations of my subscribers, we were able to get enough funds together to get this thing ordered. It cost about, I think it was $5.49 on Amazon. I'll double check that price for you. And this is going to be kind of a laid-back kind of demo video, just go over the details of the device, what I paid for it, and what I had to go through to get it set up on the network. And then we're going to also cover what I did with the old Synology NAS and what my plans are moving forward. So I guess it's time to put on the glasses, the serious glasses, and let's get to work on this video. This appears to be the Synology DiskStation DS918 Plus. Hot off the UPS truck today. So we're going to do an unboxing and show you all the nice little stuff about it, and then we're going to actually be putting some hard drives in it and putting it on the network. So let's get started here. Alright, so I got to do everything from the right hand side, which is not my favorite side to do things, but you get to see my hands. Like Apple products, Synology products, save the box. Be my recommendation to you. Save the box. I'm an avid box saver anyway. So in there we have a power cord. Put it right there. We have another box. And inside this box is an advertisement for their router, of course. And we have a quick install guide right there, and then we have the power brick and a couple of network cables. There's the power brick and a couple of network cables, and of course the Synology keys. So I'm going to leave all that in that box. I don't need it right now. Again, we're going to save all the packaging materials. Now then, take this little box out. And there's another box. Well, there's a NAS. There'll be NAS here. And we'll put that there for your viewing pleasure. So I'm going to hold on to this box. It'll help me with resale value. I doubt I'll ever resell this thing, but you never know. I might upgrade to a bigger, badder NAS later. Now you're probably wondering to yourself, why didn't you get the 5-bay? Well, I have no need for a 5-bay NAS. The 4-bay NAS, all I ever use in my SHR raids is 4 drives. So if I need to add more drives to this, I can always buy an expansion. Isn't that the way of the world? You're ready to do something, your battery drops down. Now I like to keep all the packaging materials, so when somebody else buys something from me, they get the same kind of experience that I did. Now this is the, what is this, a 918 Plus? Yeah, the 918 Plus. I got the Plus because I'm a small business, and the Plus just seemed to be a better fit for what I need to use it for. Had more RAM, a little bit better processor in it, etc. So there it is. It's a 4 drive. Let's see. Here's the drive trays. Can you see that? Yep. Boy, they're kind of cheap. I would have preferred metal, but you know, hey, it is what it is. Overall, the unit's feels pretty beefy. There's a look inside if you can see it. We'll do some nice little shots on it. So DS918 Plus, power switch up front, got a USB 3 port in the front. It has a place for the power supply to connect, dual NICs, has an eSATA and another USB in the back. And dual, you know, like I said, dual NICs, because we are going to hook this up and do use both network cards. So really not much to it. And then on the bottom, the Plus unit has a place for 2 SATA drives, one here and one in the other, if you want to add SSD or SATA drives for caching. And then the RAM, we'll have to do some close-ups on it, but the RAM is right here and right here. Let's see if I can see. It should have 4 gig. Yeah, it's got DDR3 1866 4 gig RAM in there right now, and I can upgrade it to 8, which I'll probably end up doing relatively soon. And there you go. There it is out of the box. And let me start off by apologizing for the droning noise of the air conditioner in the background. We just got to live with it. It's warm in here, so I'm going to run the air conditioner. So anyway, there you go. There's the unboxing and the view of the Synology 918 Plus. That's the one I decided to go with. I hemmed and hawed. The other one that I had thought about getting, in fact, let me show you it. I'll bring it up here on Amazon and show you the other one I considered and why I went with the 918 Plus. So I stared long and hard at the screen and asked myself, do I need a 5-bay NAS or do I need a 4-bay NAS to start up with? And the answer was it really doesn't matter. 4 bays would work fine for me. So what I liked about this unit was it has a quad-core 2.4 gigahertz. You can put up to 16 gig of RAM in there. You can do up to 15 drives with an expansion unit. I really like the fact that I could also put a 10 gig Ethernet card in there later if I wanted to, and I could up the RAM. And of course it has BTRFS, it has everything else that all the other Synology NAS has. But this one also had 4 NICs in it instead of 2 like the 918 Plus. But ultimately what it came down to was price, because if you look at this unit on Amazon right here, you see for the 2 gig unit it's $6.99, and it came down to a matter of how much money do I want to spend for something that I may or may not use in the future. So mainly the benefit this unit gave me over the one that I got is the fact that it can have more RAM in it, it's got a faster processor, and it can do a 10 gig network card. But I don't need those features. And if I go up to the unit that I really wanted to get, which would have been the 8 gig unit, that price would have been $789. So it's a little more than I wanted to pay. So that's why I did not go with the DS1517 Plus. Now this may be a unit that I would probably sell to my clients. In fact, I've got a couple of clients right now I'm looking at to sell one of these units to each. And considering what you're going to get for that $789 price to a small business, that's not a lot of money. So the unit I decided to go with was the DS918 Plus, and I went ahead and got it with 4 gig of RAM, scalable up to 8 gig. It has dual 1 gig NIC ports. It holds 4 hard drives, and then it has room for 2 M.2 NVMe drives for caching if I need it. But it has all the other features that all the other Plus units have. And the reason I went with a Plus unit is because it has a little more oomph, a little more power when it comes to transcoding and that kind of thing. So the Plus units also can run certain parts of the software, like the BTRFS file system, the Butter file system, which I wanted as well. And I really only need 4 bays in the NAS, so this is the one I decided to go with. So this is the unit, like I said, that I went with, and this is the price that I paid on Amazon. It's not really the price I paid, it's the price we paid, because we had a lot of generous donations from a lot of generous people to get this NAS in here. Thanks to my subscribers, and I'm going to give shout outs here at the end of the video, but this is the one I went with. Got it from Amazon. Now initially when I tried to go get it off Amazon, the price was $6.19 because Amazon did not have any of these, only third-party sellers had them. So I waited a couple of days and did a refresh, and finally I was able to find one on Amazon for the price that I wanted to pay. So it came in yesterday, and then of course we got it all set up. I was going to film myself moving the drives, you know, from my Synology NAS over to my Synology NAS, because what I did, I took I took a chance. I went ahead and did backups. I backed up to other servers. I backed up to external drives because I didn't want to have to restore data if I didn't have to. But I got to thinking in this head of mine, I should be able to take the drives out of my Synology NAS, put them into this one, go out and do the Synology Finder, you know, findmysynology.com, and I should be able to import those drives and set it up. And sure enough, that's what I did. I took the drives physically out of the Synology NAS, I put them into the Synology NAS to the 918 Plus. I booted up fine. I booted up the unit. It took it about 10 minutes to boot up, and it beeped and buzzed, and finally the green lights came on. As you can see, they're on behind me. And then I went to find Synology.com, found the unit. It said, these are drives from another configuration. Do you want to import them? I said yes. And then it asked me if I wanted to import the settings and warned me that it might lose some of the settings, and I said yes. And within 5 minutes it had imported the drives, set up the SHR. It had set up all the networks. The only thing it didn't set up was the network setting. I had to go back in and put a manual IP address in there instead of the DHCP, and then I had to reload Plex. I had to, you know, uninstall it and reinstall it to get Plex to work, and rejoin my domain, and that was pretty much it. It was, you know, set it and forget it kind of thing, and wow. You know, I'm sure you can do that with FreeNAS. I'm sure you can do that with Unraid. Well, I'm sure you can do something like that, but that's why I got this Synology. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just simple. You remember on my FreeNAS video how I struggled with just a drive failure and determining what I needed to do. You know, the Synology, man, I just popped the drives out of something that was a hack and popped them into a, you know, fully legal Synology NAS, and it just worked. That, I was amazed. I mean, I spent hours doing backups just in case. I wanted to make sure I had my data protected in several locations. And wow, it just worked. I mean, what else can I say? It worked. Now there's one other thing I want to mention. You need to be careful with Plex on these Synology units, because I found out a piece of data last night when I was looking around and doing some searching. Evidently, Plex is no longer supported on some Synology NASs. So in other words, if you have an older Synology NAS with an ARM, anything but an Intel processor in it, I believe that Plex is end-of-lifing support. So if you have an older version of Plex on one of these units, one of these Synology units with a ARM processor or something like that, you don't upgrade your Plex, whatever you do, because it's going to stop working. So don't take my word for it. Go out to the Plex forums and you'll see the article out there. So if you have an older 2-bay NAS or 3-bay NAS or whatever, and it's not a Plus series or it doesn't have an Intel processor, Plex is going to stop working on your NAS. So just be aware of that. Now normally when I spend the amount of money, or when I spend the amount of money I did on a device like this, I usually have buyer's remorse. Usually anything over $300, I really have to justify the purchase, because I'm a small business and I've got overhead. taxes to pay just like the rest of you, and I got a mortgage to pay, and so I was really, do I really need this in here? And I determined that yes, if I'm going to continue to do videos about Synology products, which I have every intention of doing, then I really need one of their products in here to evaluate their products correctly. Now, am I still going to keep my Exponology NAS? Be damn right I am. I got plans for it, but that'll be a separate video. And that's mainly going to be due to the way that Synology handles their RAID. I'm just in love with Synology Hybrid RAID. So I am going to keep my Exponology NAS, but we're going to do some projects on it to show you what I'm going to do. And the other thing I need to do is separate I want to be able to separate my business data from my home entertainment data and keep them on a separate system, so that when I'm working on something like my Synology NAS or doing it won't affect the spouses or the family's ability to watch videos and play music and that kind of thing. So it was time, and I'm gonna say, even though I've only had this thing, well, a day now basically. Yeah, it's 12:44. I got it at 2 o'clock yesterday. It's almost 2 o'clock today. I'm in love with it. I mean, it just worked. I did some preliminary testing last night. Now, prior to ordering this unit, I did some tests on my Exponology NAS, and I was able to get, when I rip my videos, I don't rip them and convert them to H.264 anymore. It's just a process I didn't see needing to do. So what I do is I rip the MPEG off the DVD straight to an MPEG file, and then I let Plex transcode those videos to my Rokus and whatever else. It's just the way I choose to do it. But that means that your Plex needs to have a little bit of processing power and RAM in order to do that. I tested it on my Exponology NAS, and I was able to get 3 regular standard definition streams and 1 high def going at the same time before I noticed some stuttering and some CPU piggishness on the Exponology NAS. Same thing on this one. I was able to get 3 standard definition streams going at the same time, and then add an HD stream, and it was able to do it. And then conversely, I was able to do 3 HD streams at the same time on both of the Exponology NAS, which has a Core i3 processor in it, and this 918 Plus, which has a Intel Celeron processor in it. And it's a 1.5 gigahertz, but it'll burst up to 2.3. So I never had any lagginess or anything in my preliminary testing. So I don't intend on running Plex on this unit for very long, because this is going to be my business NAS. So I will probably relegate Plex to the Exponology unit that I'm going to be doing a separate video on. But I just want you to be aware that that was, if you're going to test anything on a NAS unit, test it with Plex, because that'll definitely put it through its paces. It never even got warm, nothing. It was, it didn't falter a bit. And it's very quiet. You can see it sitting back there on the desk. The air conditioner, of course, is loud, but I can't hear that unit with all the noise in the room abated. So here's the info screen, just to let you know. It's a DS918 Plus Intel Celeron J3455, 1.5 gigahertz burstable up to 2.3, 4 cores, so it's a quad-core CPU. 4 gig of memory, and we can upgrade that to 8, and I probably will be, as time goes on. I'll get an 8 gig RAM upgrade. You can see it's MCS-DC01 is the time server, so it is connected to my Active Directory domain. It's been up and running for 13 hours, 57 minutes, and 31 seconds. So here's a view of the disks. It's healthy, 80% usage. The volume, let's go see it. Imported all 4 of the 2 terabyte drives just fine. And health info on all the drives is good. You'll see my, let's see if you can see my logs and my test events now. But all my drives are doing fine. And if we go into Resource Manager here, you'll see that I've got Plex is running in the background. You'll see the background tests are running the DSM, Cloud Sync. I don't have much on here yet, but as we move forward, we will be loading new software on here and testing it out. We're going to give all the Plex software a run for its money. We're going to be doing testing the mail server, their collaboration suite of software, their chat software. We're going to be their backup software, you name it. We're going to be running it through its paces. So I know I sound awful excited about this Synology NAS, but I have been ever since I saw Morton's video over at my Playhouse when he virtualized Synology. I've been a fan, and then once I started using the Synology Hybrid RAID, I was a true believer. And you know, I've been through the gauntlet with NAS units. I've tried every derivation you can think of. I've tried Windows Drive, whatever the hell they call it. I've tried Drive Vendor, which was like my second favorite. I've tried FreeNAS. I've tried Unraid. FreeNAS and Unraid, just didn't like the interface on them. They're perfectly fine pieces of software, but they just weren't for me. And then Synology started releasing some really great software on their NAS units, and that's what got me to pay that kind of money for this unit, because I just couldn't justify putting off the purchase any longer. I needed it here, and if I'm going to start selling something like this to my customers, then I definitely need to eat my own dog food, as they say. So very happy with the purchase so far. Long term will tell how I like it, and I need to get this unit in on the rack. Right now it's on that battery backup down below there, just in case we have a power failure, but I really need to put it in with the rack. I was tempted to put it on my desktop, but I'm going to be combining the two NIC cards in there to get 2 gigabits worth of throughput on there. What do they call it? Link aggregation. I'm going to be turning that on and using both NIC cards when I put in the rack. I don't know that I'll do a video on that. There's a lot of videos on Google about turning on link aggregation in a Synology NAS, so you can probably go look those up and find out where they are. All right, well, now let's get to the fun part. Let's do a shout out to the folks that help purchase this unit. So I hope those of you that donated didn't want to remain anonymous, because I'm going to do a shout out right now. Anyway, so I'm not going to tell people how much you donated. It's nobody's business what you donated. We got a payment from William Kane on January 14th. William, thank you very much. Jerry Cremedy sent a very substantial donation to purchase this NAS unit on January 16th. Thank you very much. We got another contribution from Tyler Cookson. Thank you, Tyler. That was on January 18th, and then again on January 18th, we got a contribution from Morton over at my Playhouse. Thank you, Morton. That was very nice of you to do that. You didn't have to. Then we got some more money from Richard Fuller. Thank you, Richard, on the 21st. And then from Philip Saunders, we had another payment on the 23rd of January, and John Bloom, we got another contribution. Thanks to all of you. I put all these funds directly into the Synology NAS. There's no need to send any further contributions for this unless you feel compelled to, because we've been able to purchase the unit. So whatever I was short, I just put up my own money to get the unit in here. But a special thank you to all those subscribers who made this possible. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and you can see the results of your donations right there. Thank you very much. So enough. I've said enough about it. The rest of what I'm going to talk about on Synology is going to be in upcoming videos when we start putting this thing through its paces and start to set it up like I would use it in a business, and see if it is as good as Synology claims it is. And I have no doubt that it will be, but you know, watching a webinar from Synology is not the same as using the software and day-to-day operations of a business. So I'm going to be the guinea pig on that, and it's going to make for some exciting videos coming up. And don't forget, I don't think I've forgotten the Windows Lab series. We're still going to work on those. As you know, I've just done major upgrades of these Dell servers. I'm waiting to find out from some people that have offered to donate RAM for this machine, if they're going to follow through and be able to send it to me. If not, then we'll have to purchase some RAM. But I'm going to end the video here today. and hope you found it entertaining and informative as always. Give us a thumbs up down below, leave your comments in the comments section, and donate if you're so inclined. We take PayPal and or Patreon. Helps keep the channel going and allows us to purchase new stuff for the channel to test. And don't forget, we're going to have some Exponology videos coming up as well. So thanks again for watching, and don't forget, we'll see you on the other side.